Welcome to More Than Design, episode 6. I got my brother here, Jude, from Buttafly out in Mount Vernon. Jude has worked and also contributed to retailers such as Babe, Filling Pieces, and also Extra Butter. Welcome to the show, bro.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Excited to have you here, man. I connected with Jude through a buddy of mine's, of ours, mutual friend Chris that I went to FIT with.
Shout out to Chris.
Yeah, shout out to Chris. How did you meet Chris?
Actually through a buddy of mine in the fashion industry who Chris worked with for some time.
Yeah.
And Stefan reached out to Chris and was like, yo, there's this guy that I know in the industry. He's opening a shop in Mount Vernon. Like, you should really connect with him. And we connected and we hit it off from there. And
Chris a good dude. A good dude. I met Chris in FIT. I think he was trying to holler at the same girl I was trying to holler at. Nah, I'm fucking with you. But that did happen a few times at FIT. But no, me and Chris, we met from playing ball, bro. Like, so, there's not that many black guys or straight guys in FIT as much. So when you do find somebody who's typically like, yo, you trying to hoop after class, and that's how we met. So shout out Chris.
That's dope.
So yeah, Buttafly, Mount Vernon. I'm from the Bronx, and I'll tell you this, I have not stepped foot too much in Mount Vernon. So talk to me a little about the store.
The stuff there. I mean, full transparency, like I'm from Brooklyn. So
yeah.
Before opening the shop or before finding the location, like I didn't step foot in Mount Vernon either. So I just want to be super transparent about that. But definitely love the city now that I'm in it and I'm a part of it. So just putting that out there. But Buttafly is a streetwear and clothing boutique that opened about 2.5 years ago. It was thought of and I guess conceived in 2020. Me and my two partners decided to come together and build this shopping experience / streetwear boutique that people in Mount Vernon could be proud of.
Yeah,
we wanted somewhere where like creatives can come through and like kind of kick it and chill and bounce ideas off each other and just have great conversation. But at the same time, cop a few good pieces here and there. Like, might see some kicks that you like or a hat or whatever. So nice.
I took a look at the social media and I love what you guys are doing, especially within the community. But we'll touch on that. What were you doing before you met with your partners and opened up Buttafly?
I was still in the fashion space. I've been working in corporate fashion now for I want to say 13 years or so. Mm-hmm. So I was in the fashion space. I actually had my own company for a little bit. I was doing a lot of consulting for different brands and trying to help them grow their businesses because that was something that I was good at. Just continuing with that in sales.
Nice. And before off air, you were talking about you was working in corporate America and kind of left your 6-figure job to actually take the risk to start the space. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Prior to that, I was a sales director at Paper Planes, Jay-Z's company.
Shout out Rock
Nation. Shout out to Hov. Yeah, but still a huge fan. It was definitely a dream job to work, in that space and be in that building because the house that Hov built is ridiculously dope. So it was always a dream job for me at least. But yeah, I was there. I was doing sales. I was running the whole sales situation for Paper Planes. And it was a good ride. It was definitely a good ride. But
nice.
Time came where I had to make a tough decision to sustain my business, and that's what I decided. I decided to move on.
What was the deciding factor for you to move on? Was it already you connected with your partners and you guys were already kind of brainstorming we need to open up this retail space? How did that start? So
technically I was working both. I was still at Plains and I had the store open already. But what happened was that the store was missing me. I think the business was missing me because I designed the store literally down to where the hats go in the store. I bought all the brands because I'm the buyer. I'm in charge of the social media, the way that our website looks. So that whole aesthetic aspect, that creative direction aspect was missing because I had this full-time big gig that I had to handle. And, I'm never one to slouch or slack on my job. So when I was dedicated to rock, I was doing rock work, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then when I had the time on the side, I'm trying to run this full out real business. Yeah. So it was definitely tough. So I had to make that jump.
How long was Butter open while you were still working your corporate job?
Oh man, whole time. It was I want to say about a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was it, like sales, or was it like production? Like what was it like the store's missing me? Like what was it about that? Like was there something that was like off that you felt like?
Yeah, I definitely felt like, just having me there on a day-to-day basis, like, I helped curate the feel of the store, like, how we approach customers when you come in, like how things were folded and merchandise in the store. Like, I would come in, from day to day or on the weekends and see certain things like off, but it felt like it was missing like the touch that it needed.
You can't birth something or help to birth something and not necessarily always not be there all the way and be 100% committed. That's definitely something that, most people try to do, like the managing aspect. But yeah, I commend you on that leap of faith.
Thank you. Yeah. So I mean, look, I tell this to everyone, and we spoke about this kind of earlier. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. So not for the weak. I don't want to ever sell a dream like it's this easy thing to just like be a full-time entrepreneur. Like clearly I had my salary job and I was still doing that on the side. But yeah, it's not an easy thing.
And I'll even give you your flowers. You're not an entrepreneur. Like entrepreneurship is like you by yourself. You actually have a business. You're a business owner. Boss. You have employees. You have payroll. Like entrepreneurship is like, like being by yourself and taking that leap of faith to do these things. But you're actually running a full on business. So that's dope, man. And what out of all the things, right? Like you work, at different retailers and contributed that I mentioned, like Bape and Filling Pieces, and then also Paper Planes. Why a clothing store, and why Mount Vernon?
So clothing stores because fashion is something I know. Like I've known it for pretty much my whole adult life at this point. So it was like, that's low hanging fruit something that I'm good at.
Yeah.
And then why Mount Vernon? It's a cultural hub. Like people forget how dope Mount Vernon is, and like the people that they've birthed. Like you have like Heavy D, for example. You have like fashion stylists like Groovy Lou, who's still like up and active and working with like some of the biggest celebrities out. Like he was Nipsey Hussle's last stylist. He still works with Diddy. And you have like just all these super dope like cultural like figures in history that come out of Mount Vernon and nobody knows.
Shout out to Ben Gordon.
Ben Gordon.
Ben Gordon's my guy. I met Ben Gordon through a buddy of mine who's actually was on the show, Club Bum. Yeah. His episode's already been out by the time this releases though. But yeah, Ben Gordon, one of my favorite hoopers, coldest.
One of the best like basketball players like that came out of New York, period. Like just a killer NBA player. Like you can't, like that's just another example of Mount Vernon and the dopeness behind it that people either don't know or don't remember.
Yeah. Nice, man. And I think that's super impressive just because growing up in Gun Hill in the Bronx, you always have to go up, like you have to go to Manhattan or you have to go to Brooklyn now for like the vibes or the community, or to even go shopping half the time, right? Like in an episode earlier, we talk about like how like Fordham was the Mecca and Third Ave was the Mecca to actually go shopping and school shopping or whatever the case may be. But it's super cool to kind of see like you building this space like in a place where people like Mount Vernon, like people from the Bronx really only going to Mount Vernon for like parties in the summer, backyard parties and stuff like that. So it's super cool. That's super dope. Tell me how it was growing up in Brooklyn.
Man, Brooklyn was cool, man. I mean, my childhood, it was pretty normal. I think for like any New York City kid, like can relate. You had those summers where you played outside and tablets and phones and social media wasn't a thing at that point. So we actually played outside. Like we played basketball in the streets. We played football and manhunt and all these different things. And I felt like everybody kind of knew everybody. Like you could be in the building across the street because I grew up in a really like a city area. So you had buildings everywhere, right? Like you knew the guys that were in the building across the street. You knew the guys that were in the building down the block, and you guys all came together and like hung out and chilled. Like, it was awesome.
Were you always into fashion even growing up too?
Nah, truth be told, no way. I think it was in my bloodline for some reason because my dad was a tailor when he was in his younger days. And my sister actually went to FIT and graduated with a fashion merchandising degree. So shout out to y'all. And she worked for Macy's corporate for like 20 years. Like she was like ingrained in fashion. But like I didn't know that fashion was for me. I wanted to be a cartoonist growing up. So all I did was draw. I stole my sister's expensive like drawing kits and pencils that she had for FIT.
Yeah.
And I would like use those to like doodle. And eventually she's like got tired of me like messing up her like expensive like supplies. So she buys me like this super dope art kit that had like watercolors, markers, colored pencils, crayons, and it had like a sketchbook, and I just went in. Like, that's all I wanted to be, was a cartoonist. So,
Facts, man.
up until the point I got to high school, and then that kind of shifted. And then went to college. Still didn't know what I wanted to do. I was a liberal arts major for a little bit. Then I went into communications. Got an associate's in communications. Still wasn't my calling. Didn't feel like it was. So went back for my 4-year degree. Didn't care for it. Dropped out my junior year. And I went into the workforce.
Yeah.
I started working full time. I was at BAPE.
Nice. I was working at BAPE.
It was sick, man. It was like, that's Nego. That's like streetwear mecca right there. Like that's one of the top 5.
Motherfuckers that work at BAPE is pretty cool, man. I used to walk in that shit. They be like, yo, you want something? Like, and I'm like, y'all cool motherfuckers. Yeah, y'all hiring. Anytime you go around Soho back in the day.
Facts.
You go around each store. You had to go around each store and ask if motherfuckers was hiring, and if they liked your swag or your energy. They might be like, yeah, come back and speak with the manager this time. Yeah. Now it's like everything online. It'll be like, oh, go online. Fill
out an app online.
Yeah, fill out an app. But yeah, that's dope.
That was really the real dope point of like streetwear, I think. Like that 2000, like early 2000s, mid 2000s, like streetwear scene was just like, it was everything for me at least.
Fashion night out too.
Fashion night out was going on. Like the streets were vibrant. Dude.
Yo,
so
man.
good, so good.
I don't think, and now I feel like we sound like dinosaurs, but like I don't think the kids nowadays even know how lit fashion night out is. If they did that one time this like in a year or two, like it would be so fly. It's such a great time, bro. But of course, with fashion night out, you always got people that come out and just do the most, and that's really why there's no more fashion night out. Yeah.
There's a lot going on. They were blocking streets. It was too much going on.
People standing on cars, fighting.
Let's send a message to Mayor Adams. Maybe you could like bring it back.
Mayor Adams with he's with it, right?
He's with it. I
seen that, man. He be talking about smoking and all that. He with it, man. If you've been to 42nd Street, Times Square now that weed is legalized, you should definitely be able to let fashion night. You could do a fashion night out for sure. Because the streets is already kind of like crazy right now on like 42nd Street. It's like a circus
for sure.
So talk to me a little bit about how you met your partners, your other co-founders of Butter.
So one of them is like a mentor of mine. I met him like literally the first trade show I ever went to in fashion, second trade show I ever went to. And he was just a really cool guy. He was like, yo, I'm gonna, stay close. I'll teach you how to be sucker free. And, he kept his word. Like, he kind of navigated me through being a new young guy within like this like corporate fashion world of like sales, and just taught me the ropes. And he remained somebody that I stayed close to throughout my whole career. Mm-hmm. And during the pandemic, 2020 came about, and he's just like, yo, I might have an opportunity for you to help, design a store. Because I had a little bit of experience with that, with Extra Butter. Like I gave my little input here and there on like their redesign that they did in their LES store a few years back. Mm-hmm. And
I remember that.
But they had a full architecture team, but I gave my little bits and pieces. Like if you go in there, they'll probably never give me credit. Now I'm gonna take my credit. If you go in there and it smells like vanilla, that's because I told them to put a scent machine in there. Sorry.
Nice.
But people are gonna ride on your back. It is what it is.
You got to give yourself. You got to pat yourself on the back and give yourself flowers sometimes.
So that's like one of the little tidbits that I like gave to them, and they ran with it. And then in the store you go in there, it smells amazing.
Yeah,
so at least they use mine.
I'm gonna go in that shit soon and let them know if I smell that vanilla. I'm gonna be like, yo.
I forgot what the exact smell is, but there's a scent machine in there pumping. Like, and I got that concept from BBC Ice Cream Store, like working at BAPE and going to like the sister store, right, and shopping and hanging out with the guys there. And I would always ask them like, yo, what's pumping through the air? Because it smells amazing. They're like, oh, it's like this like waffle cone vanilla scent or something like that. And that's when, when they were redesigning that LES store that they have now, I was like, yo, we should put a scent machine kind of like old school BBC.
Nice.
like their first location that they had in New York. I was like, yeah, we should do it like that. And they took the idea.
Nice. So your mentor kind of reaches out to you,
Right.
lets you know about this opportunity. So that's two of you guys right now.
Right, that's two of us.
You did mention that there's another co-founder. So yeah.
So third co-founder. So he's like, yo, there's opportunity to design a store. He's like, I have a young brother of mine who's really cool, really into the sneaker game, like into the whole resale market. Like he's just ingrained in sneaker culture. And he's like, he doesn't know what he wants to do necessarily, but he wants to open a store. He doesn't know if he wants to make it like a resale shop or like a full-fledged boutique. But yo, you should sit down and talk to him. Sit down, we meet, we talk, we hit it off pretty instantly. I'm just like, yo, give me like 2 weeks. Let me like research, figure out how the store should look and the feel that we want to give it. So took little tidbits of like things that I loved and old school New York streetwear, for example, like Flight Club and like things like North Recon and things like that.
Yeah.
And I kind of merged them together and added my own twist. And so, yeah. But going back to that, that's how we ended up meeting. So we got connected through my mentor. Basically.
And you guys already had the location, or did your mentor already scope out the location, or was it like you guys all sat down and was like, okay, here are the boroughs, where do we want to kind of set up shop? Or was it like the opportunity came to your mentor like, oh, here's a location in Mount Vernon? So
yeah, the location was already on the table.
Okay.
What ended up happening was, he again, he didn't know. The other partner didn't really know what he wanted to do with it. Like literally, I walked into the space and it was an old 99-cent store. I'm not sure if you're familiar with like the super old 99-cent store with the wood slits on the wall where they could like hang the hooks up, and it was like literally a 99-cent store. So I look at it and I go, yeah, we could do something with this. And I was like, yo, give me 2 weeks, we'll figure something out. And
nice.
I started researching and putting things together.
Nice. Wow, man, that's super dope, man. I think the most impressive part as well is the aspect that you guys can all come to the table. You already knew your mentor, but you didn't know your third co-founder, and it just all made sense. You guys all had different skills or have different skill sets
for sure
to kind of make the store work. And that's one of the things that they kind of really say about like our community, that we can't all work together.
Right.
And
it's not true.
Which is not true.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that you guys all came together and made it happen, and success, man. So now you guys start the store up. How was it really with funding? Was it really like someone gave this gentleman, your other founder, the store?
Like, hey, we'll figure out bank loans, credit cards, et cetera, et cetera. Typical startup business stuff, right? But just that resale market is something else. So,
yeah.
So,
was the loan crazy?
No, it wasn't crazy because we didn't take out like a massive loan or anything like that. We just took out enough for what we needed. Because we already kind of had some money already set to the side for the project. But like, yeah, we didn't need like a massive loan.
Okay. Y'all guys got some good credit. Nice.
At least one or two of us do, yeah.
Nice. All right. So now you come up with the idea 2 weeks later. What's the next step there? Like you guys are starting to do some renovations and stuff in that nature?
Yeah. We go out, seek a dope contractor who was like highly sought after. He actually built like Fat Joe's stores up in NYC.
Nice.
So we seek him out, and he helps with like that, putting the final touches on the design aspect. Like, I gave him my vision, but he's like, oh, maybe put this here and there. Because obviously he's done this, right?
Yeah.
He does it for a living, technically. So he's like, oh, maybe you should put this here. And I'm like, all right, cool. I think that's good to change. And we start the build out process.
Nice.
And funny enough, we started the build out process without like proper permitting. I don't know if I should even say that, but I'm keeping it real.
I was going to ask you about that.
It actually ended up biting us in the in the ass eventually, but it's just a learning curve, right? Just telling that story to everyone else so they can like not make the mistakes we made.
What type of licenses or licensing?
Just like the construction permitting, stuff like that. So like you need to like go through the proper channels, get your permitting done. Like don't try to skip a step because it will set you back. And it actually set us back, believe it or not. Because we did the build out, did it without permitting, like blocked out all the windows. So like like people like, yo, what's going on in it? Like,
somebody snitched?
No, I said we went into like, tell them, hey, we're about to open our shop. And they're like, okay, like no one told us about this shop. What shop are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, we got a shop on like 4th Avenue. Like, it's like a new sneaker store, like clothing store. And they're like, what?
Who's they?
The city. Oh. Like the city of Mount Vernon. They're like, what? What are you talking about? Like, we know nothing about what you're talking about. And I'm just like, yeah. So we then had to go in and file the proper paperwork. So, so that delayed us about 3 months in opening.
Okay.
Which kind of sucked because we had a bunch of merchandise in the store already, like that we ordered. It was during like the like top of the year, so it was still cold. So we still had a lot of hoodies, etc. So it took us about 3 month delay to open up.
Sitting on merch now, delayed opening,
and that's because we didn't follow proper procedure.
Yeah,
you live and you learn. We'll never do it again.
Yeah. So now, like you guys, 3 months later, open up shop. How's the experience of or the process of getting the merchandise? Is it like you guys now are looking at like a list of brands, Off-White, Bape, Supreme, this and that? Like, how do you guys really tailor what brands are going to be in this space?
I mean, it has a lot to do with like, what's popular, right?
Yeah.
What's popular. And then obviously there's some niche brands that you might bring in that like you as a person might feel like is a cool brand that people don't know about and you want them to know about it. But in terms of actually getting the brands, to be honest, completely, it's a lot of relationships.
Yeah.
I was in a fortunate and blessed space to even be able to pick up a phone and call someone from Puma and be like, hey, I'm opening this shop. Like, would love to send you the rendering and my concept and, let me know what you think. And
yeah.
They check it out and they go, yo, looks sick. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a fortunate position that I could do that. Reebok and like a ton of other brands. And they're like, yo, let's open this up.
Is the store primarily focused on sneakers or because I know you have sneakers and clothing,
right?
But like, what are the biggest selling pieces? Is it really just like sneakers or both?
So, I mean, we have a ton of different things. So I like to say that we're a lifestyle sneaker and clothing boutique.
Yeah.
Because we sell everything from coffee table books to candles.
Nice.
Lighter covers, like all types of weird little trinkets.
I gotta get my ass in that store this weekend.
Yeah, you gotta come on down, man.
I love a candle, man. Real organic and peaceful,
But yeah, we sell a lot of different things, and obviously we have the sneaker aspect to it, which is cool. Like we just got our New Balance count recently, and that's been a really like big sale boost for us. But as far as what sells the best, definitely New Balance is one of those. New Era, this hat game, this hat community is like, it's crazy.
Have you guys locked in with J Tips?
Yeah, J Tips is actually a friend. I've known him for quite some time. Like even before who he is now, which is like I'm super proud to see who he is now. To be honest, and I remember him shopping at Bape as well. Like that's how long we go back. But yeah, we haven't locked in to do anything in particular, but maybe one day, hopefully.
Hopefully.
If you're watching this, there you go.
Yeah, I got to get him on the show. That's definitely somebody uptown that we need to have out there represented, and it's good to do some collaboration across. I mean, to me, Mount Vernon pretty much is uptown to me, so that's
it's really close.
It's close to me, so it's like that's dope, man. Has there ever been retailer or brands that were like, nah, you guys are kind of. Is there some fronting going on?
Oh, absolutely. 120%. I mean, again, a lot of it is based off relationships. So if you don't necessarily know that said person who's selling that particular brand, then they can kind of be standoffish or kind of look at you like, who's this guy?
Why would a brand say no to put their merchandise in a good lifestyle type of retail space? Like what excuses, not excuses or reason is behind that besides like the relationship aspect?
Well, I mean, now here's where my sales background comes in. It has a lot to do with proximity. So how close you are to another retailer who might carry that same exact brand, especially when it's a niche brand. Retailers don't want to sell. If let's say you have a store down the block from the other guy, they don't want to sell that niche brand to you because that guy already had it first. Yeah. Has a lot to do with brand presence and brand matrix. So like brand matrix, meaning the mix of brands that a store would have. If that brand feels like their brand matrix isn't exactly good enough or dope enough for their brand to sit next to, then they'll tell you no. I mean, those would probably be like the two of the biggest reasons. Like proximity and brand matrix is usually like always what gets people. Look of the store. So
keeping your sales hat on and also your owner hat on, so you got like two hats. What advice you would give to young aspiring retail owners that's like, yo, we would love to open up a store maybe in the Bronx, Brooklyn, wherever, maybe Indiana, to kind of really just get started?
Do your research.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure, like look at your geographical landscape and see, who's close by or who's not close by, because that's going to play a factor for you. You obviously don't want to open up the block from like a make a giant, right, retailer. So I would say do your research, and, put your work in, man. Like, if you're not from the fashion space and you think, oh, I got this sum of money and I'm just going to go open it, it's going to be a tough ride for you, because you need to have like the work put in, and people need to know who you are before they start, opening the door for you. Do
you think like getting started like in trade shows is a good start? Because I know you mentioned that how you met your mentor / co-founder as well. Like, is it like trade shows? Because I used to go to trade shows. It starts with an A. Agenda.
Yeah.
I used to go to Agenda all the time, and I got in based off the strength of Jeff Staple, who I met when I had my own clothing brand.
Sick.
And he had like a master class on kind of starting your own brand and stuff like that, so you can enter and basically show off your clothing brand and your backstory. And I never got picked, but I sent him an email. I was like, yo bro, like thank you for the experience. And then I met him during Fashion Night Out, probably the last year, at the Soho Apple store.
Nice.
And I got his freaking email, and I just shot him an email one day like, yo bro, like I would love to go to Agenda so I can keep on learning. And he freaking got me like a freaking like a pass to go in.
That's dope.
And then from there I kept using the same pass for like 2 or 3 years. And I was just at that trade show just meeting people, but it's dope. But do you think that's like a good way to kind of start for someone that might have the money, and you're talking about like building those connections, like or just like grind it out, like email, whatever.
Trade shows are definitely like, putting a face to a name, and then, people seeing you, like that definitely helps, right? Like without the trade show scene, which is now, it is a dying model now, unfortunately, but they are still around. But it's not what it used to be like, let's say 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, going there, meeting people, shaking hands, like that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Like being in those scenes and having dinner with people or grabbing a drink, like those things help, because it's really about connection, and that's is crazy enough. But yeah.
Why is trade shows now like a dying breed, or like dying out?
It's a mix of different things. But like just looking at like how things have been over the last few years, it's like people are now doing private showrooms now, where they're renting a space or sharing a space with another brand and showing their collections there. So now people don't feel the need to rent 10 by 10 booth at a trade show when they can just have a private, especially if they have the customer base or the account list already. It's like, why do I need to set up at a trade show?
Yeah, because some trade shows are expensive as hell.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. What was your favorite trade show back in the day when you were going?
Liberty Fairs, for sure. Liberty Fairs was a dope one.
Liberty was nice.
My favorite one now, and like even though like there's not many of them now, but my favorite one now is Project. I like that whole Project Now section that they have, because they're basically like Agenda essentially, but a little bit elevated.
Yeah. Do you remember Karmaloop?
Of course, yeah, man. I shopped on Karmaloop back in the day. Yeah.
What do you think was Karmaloop's downfall?
Oh man, that's a great question. Maybe too many brands. I honestly don't know this story on why they failed.
Yeah,
but they had a ton of brands.
Yeah, it was so crazy. Like Karmaloop, how we speak about like Fashion Night Out, like it feels like it was like the mecca of like, if you needed to get 10 deep, obey, any brand that you can think of was on freaking Karmaloop. And
100%.
All of a sudden, like the cool factor went out, and maybe it was because of like too many brands. Like even though like you could find everything there, it was like, oh, now brands like the emerging indie brands were starting to make their own online, experience. And it was like, I don't know if I really want to go on Karmaloop. It don't seem cool anymore.
Right, because as you get more brands, right, you could water down your own brand.
Yeah.
Because if it's like a cheap brand, it's like, oh, now you're selling cheap stuff, or I don't want to be part of it. Like I don't want to shop there.
Yeah.
But I really don't know their stories. I don't want to speak to their downfall. Yeah. They're actually back now, believe it or not. They are up and running again. Like
really?
Yeah. They relaunched a few years ago. It's kind of a different model, but it's still the same model.
Okay.
So
I gotta check them out.
Yeah.
I feel like there hasn't been another, like when you can go somewhere to find all of the brands, like a Neiman Marcus, like a Nordstrom, to me, it feels like unless you're going in the store, most people don't really want to shop like places where you can find everything. Like it really wants that exclusivity to kind of like if you only got like 6 or 7 brands, maybe.
Right.
My favorite online retailer is Sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. One of the best.
Probably one of my favorite ones, just because of like even though they have that many brands in Dover Street, it just still feels like real exclusive to me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they have some really dope brands that like under the radar, like that you probably won't know, and like Dover Street is like one of those cool examples for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, are you and your partners? Do you guys, besides carrying other brands, do you guys have your own brand as well?
Yeah, so we make a bit of merch for ourselves for like Buttafly apparel. That's typically what we do when we do like different projects, is like collaborations and such. So we'll do it under like the Buttafly apparel. But we do have some like standalone pieces that are just straight up Buttafly branded pieces, like t-shirts, hats, things like that. Nice.
Tell me about some of your favorite collaborations that you've done over the years.
2 favorites probably be Groovy Lou. He has him and his partner World have a brand called Groovy World, and that's based out of Mount Vernon, and just it's just cool, chill sweatsuit vibe. Like make really quirky sweatshirts like made in Africa instead of made in America. Like just cool stuff like that. And another collaboration that was probably a favorite of mine was Styles P. We did the merch for the 20th anniversary of Good Times. This is the song I Get High. So we did the merch for that.
I did see that online. I did. Chris definitely did post that up.
And I mean, by the time this airs, we'll actually be doing our second collab with him.
Nice.
So we're going to be launching a merch run for his upcoming show in New York City on the 27th.
Nice, bro. Oh, man. Yeah. I love Styles P, bro, and I love that him and Jada got the Juices for Life all around the Bronx. Yeah. I go to the one in Castle Hill, but yeah, Styles, I got to pull up to that one.
Felt as well.
Yeah,
he's doing a show. It's gonna be like he's doing a show at Urban Plaza, so
nice.
We'll be there with like we're selling the merch as well.
Nice. I just seen an article about this or a post about this as far as just like brands partnering with artists on like releases, and it's crazy enough to kind of see that you guys are partnering with Styles P for this. So it's that unique partnership, and why do you think that works so well, or why or how did that even start? But why also do you think that works so well, where artists really come out to or collaborate with brands to really kind of get their like merch going for like shows or album releases?
That's a really good question. I don't really know how it started, but I know like why it's cool is because like at the end of the day, artists want to wear the coolest stuff themselves, right?
Yeah.
And why not collaborate with something that you resonate with, like your favorite brand? So that it's kind of like a marriage that just makes sense. And fashion designers want to be rappers, and rappers want to be fashion designers. Facts. So it just marries together. Yeah.
Did Styles come to you for this for the first one as well, and then from there, like since the relationship was so good or organic, it's just like made sense to do the next one?
So we got connected through his management, because I know one of his managers at the label. Shout out to Brian, and got connected that way. And then we did the first release. It came out really well. It was sick. And recently his management team reached back out to us like, yo, we'd love to do another run. And we're like, all right, let's do it. Yeah.
Nice. So talk to me a little bit about like you guys being so embedded in the community around Mount Vernon, because earlier on when you were talking about Mount Vernon, like why not? And I could hear the passion behind it. Talk to me about like how you guys have embedded yourself around the community to not only just sell clothing, but like feel like you guys are like a staple like in Mount Vernon.
I mean, me personally, I never opened up the shop with the intention of just taking money from the community. Like, yeah, it's cool to sell $1,000 jacket and all that good stuff, right? But for me, it's also about having that component of giving back, because I am of the hood or the neighborhood, right, as people call it. I'm of the hood, so I feel like each hood that does better is better for the world.
Yeah.
So why not give back? You know what I mean? And why not try to help the community that you're in flourish?
Yeah.
And that's why, we chose Mount Vernon, because they have that rich history, and, we ingrain ourselves in the community. We've done stuff like donated to like the City Turkey Drive. And most recently we did a huge block party in September where, we were fortunate enough to team up with different companies like Coca-Cola. And we were able to give away accumulatively between all of the people that like teamed up with us, we were able to give away 700 backpacks full of supplies.
Nice.
We had enough food for 1,000 people because of like, our partners. Gave away a ton of ice cream, had like bouncy houses on the block, face painting, 360 machines. Like
nice.
It was just a day for the community, and we wanted to do that because we want to show that, we actually care about the community. It's not, I don't sell kids clothes at the store, to be honest. Like, I have very minimal kids, like little trinkets here and there, but I don't sell kids clothes. It was really just to give back.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's super important, man. It lets the community know that you guys are about the people, man.
Yeah, sure. You have to be.
Especially, it's not all about making the money. It's, as you know, like growing up, as you said, like quote unquote in the hood. I think anytime you give back and you see like a smile on a kid's face, it's dope, bro. Like, I did some coaching with a high school team, and I think we played in the Ruck like 2017, but we didn't win.
Right. Hey, it is what it is.
And I put the money up, and it was just like a good experience, bro. Just to see like kids not doing bad shit, like they're here playing basketball, So
and that's keeping them off the street and keeping them to just having them do dope things that they want to do. They love playing basketball, right? So let them play basketball.
Yeah.
Have fun. I think that's actually led me into where I'm at now. Like, aside from being a business owner, I'm actually a teacher. I guess you can call it like an adjunct teacher.
Yeah.
I teach at Denzel Washington School of the Arts, which is around the corner from Buttafly. And I teach the kids about different fashion careers and different roles within the fashion industry. Funny enough, today I just took them on a trip to Rock Nation to see what it's like in a day in the life of somebody who works there in the fashion department or on the sports level or on the entertainment level. So
Jude is a man of the people, man.
I gotta be, bro.
That's dope.
Gotta be.
That's dope.
I wish I had the same opportunities that I give to others. I wish I had that growing up. So it's only right to pay, to do that, and hopefully somebody else pays it forward.
Yeah, yeah. Now you've been a co-founder for a few years now. Is it everything you thought it would be? As far as just when you guys first started opening, when you guys came together and opened up the store, is it? Fast forward now, like, is it what you thought it would, or even plus more?
It's definitely a plus more. It's definitely a grind for sure. Like I again, going back to early in the conversation, it's not easy. A lot of sacrifice put into being a business owner. Just different family time and different things of that sort. But I try my best to balance everything out and be there for my family. I have a 7-year-old son.
Nice.
Hi, Lincoln. He's probably gonna see this and be like, oh my gosh.
Shout out to Lincoln. Does he hoop too?
No, he doesn't hoop. Well, actually, we did put him in basketball for a little while, but he bounces around in sports. So he's been in basketball, baseball, soccer, tennis. Like, this kid just bounces around.
Oh, Lincoln's living the life, man.
Now he wants to be in gymnastics, and I'm gonna encourage him to do that. Why not?
Yeah. My daughter's in gymnastics, and of course, as a guy that played basketball, you're like, baby, like when you have a girl, you're like, all right, let's try to play basketball. My daughter, shout out to my daughter Bria. She's such a girly girl, but now she's like, Daddy. She was in gymnastics, but now she's like, Daddy, I'll try basketball for you.
Oh,
and I was like, all right.
Shout out to Bria.
Shout out to Bria. Yeah. So the kids keep us busy, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, bro. So what are some of the, I guess you just spoke about that, like the challenges, like. Talk to me about the challenges of running a store, marketing, sales, online store marketing. Like, tell me some of those challenges that you might have, and what are some of the top ones that you guys are still trying to navigate or find your way through?
I mean, with any business, staffing is always an issue, right? Like, if somebody doesn't show up for the day, it's kind of messes things up a little bit, right? Marketing wise, like trying to have your own aesthetic and put together your own photo shoots and getting models and getting a photographer. I mean, you have this dope setup, so you kind of know. Yeah, it's not as easy as as people just make it seem. Yeah. Getting advertising budgets together and picking the right things to advertise, because there's no real crystal ball, right, to tell you, oh, this is gonna pop, so you should advertise this. Like, you just kind of know what you know. I think those are some really tough struggles that I still deal with on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Keep you up at night, man. True, anxiety at an all-time high especially after I became a business owner.
Yeah. How do you? What's your hidden joy to when you are kind of going through those tough times? What's the hidden joy there?
Man, what's the hidden
Like
joy?
the cheat day or
going
going somewhere. Like, like what is it?
Just being still, man. Like being still definitely helps, yo. Like sometimes not doing, I often do too much, or I'm having to do too much all the time. Just being, again, the entrepreneur, dad, teacher, like all these different things. Like I'm going to serve on the youth bureau in Mount Vernon soon, as one of their board members. So like just doing all these different things, like just being still sometimes helps a lot.
Yeah.
Simple pleasures like going to get ice cream, having a drink, like just doing simple things, like spending time with my kid, like those things help.
Yeah. Super important. You a Larry June fan?
I've heard a few tracks that I like. I'm not a big fan.
Okay. Yeah. That's my guy there. But he's always just talking about just being peaceful. That's why when you talked about the candles and shit like that, I was like, I
love a candle, bro. Love a candle. I love when I walk into my crib and it just smells amazing.
Yeah.
Like that's a calming feeling for sure. Lighting a candle is also a calming feeling. Just being still, man.
Yeah, being still. What's one of your dream collaborations that we're gonna put it out there in the universe that if you could pick a brand or a company to work with, who and why, and what would it be?
That's a really good question. Man.
Not to put you on the spot.
No, it's cool. That's actually a dope question to ask. I have a few of them that I'd love to.
You could throw them out there.
Definitely like a Nike. Like, growing up in New York City, like Nike is king, right? When it comes to footwear, like, Jordan brand, Nike. So doing something in that realm would be awesome. Adidas also, and I love Reebok. I'm like one of those obscure guys that really loves a Club C. Like that's probably one of my favorite silhouettes of all time. So definitely a Reebok.
Shout out to Reebok.
Collab. Yeah, for sure. Shout out to the people at Reebok. And outside of fashion, it'd probably be like the Brooklyn Nets, because like they do this like initiative every year where they like tap on like African American like designers or people who are in the creative space, and they like design collections for Black History Month. Yeah. So that would be something that I probably want to do.
Brooklyn Nets, come on, man. Whoever watching, let's jump on board.
I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, so what's up?
Yeah, Brooklyn Nets, what's up, man? Doing a lot in the community, man. I could see that you guys do a lot of or it would be really dope if you guys did a lot of I guess like video promo of like just the community work that you guys do around the Mount Vernon. Definitely draw in like Brooklyn Nets or just even Nike. I think the thing with Nike that they do really well is the storytelling. And I think what you kind of mentioned about Mount Vernon, that most people don't know how fashion driven and how many stars are birthed from there. That storytelling, it will make a great selling point for Mount Vernon, or just for them to come do some work with you guys. That'll be fire, bro.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about like all the people that came out of Mount Vernon that people probably don't know about, and like you look at like Rob O, who's like a supporter of Buttafly, and he's actually like a chief in the fire department now at Mount Vernon. Nice. Like he's one of them. Like Heavy D's family is like they're like from Mount Vernon. Like he obviously is passed, and RIP to have like his birthday was recently, but like, yo, that's like one of like, that's a hip hop legend. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't curse on any tracks, like, and he still made dope music. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's fire. That's fire.
So people forget about Mount Vernon. I really want to like, just blow it out to the world. Like, yo, Mount Vernon is dope, and it still has that cultural buzz.
It's a hidden gem. Yeah. It's a hidden gem, man. I've gotten a lot of recommendations on like I'm a big foodie, and I feel like anyone in New York, that's probably really one of the reasons why most people don't leave out of New York, because of the food. You can find anything and good entertainment, but I feel like Mount Vernon, I'm always getting a recommendation from somebody that's uptown, like, yo, you gotta go to Mount Vernon.
Dude, if you want good Jamaican food, like, yo, hands down, like they have great Jamaican food in Brooklyn, but yo, exceptional in Mount Vernon, like hands down.
What's the spot?
Oh man, there's a couple different spots, but like for a quick takeout, Mangoville, that's definitely a place that I frequent often. It's like literally like down the block from the store. But if you're looking for like a sit down restaurant, there's Sugarcane Rum Village.
I heard of that. That's why I was like, what's the spot?
Food is great. Drinks are really good as well. So like people don't know, but there's some spots.
Okay. I gotta make my way. When I come out there,
we gotta go grab
to
a drink
visit the store, and then I gotta come out there and go get some food and stuff like that.
Let's do it. Yeah.
What outside of Butter? What is some of your favorite brands too? Like that you personally like?
that I personally like. Honor the Gift is probably like a really like one of my favorites.
Honor the Gift is dope. Me and my boys, we were in here talking about it, and I asked one of my boys that were in here. I was like, "What's a low key brand that most people don't know about?" And he was like, "Yo, Honor the Gift is low key fire."
People be sleeping, but Russ got some. Russell Westbrook, he got something.
Yeah, he's been consistent, and I think that's the thing where you look at a lot of athletes or artists that create brands. And you're like, all right, it comes and goes,
right?
But you
whack.
could really see like the quality and the craftsmanship, not only in the lookbooks, but just like the pieces themselves. Like there's a few things that I've seen before where I'm like, yo, I gotta get this, and it's like sold out. But like Honor the Gift is dope.
Definitely probably one of my favorite T-shirts. Like to wear, like that cut is like on point. Just thinking out, who else do I really like enjoy? On a Gift, obviously New Era, like that. I've always been a hat guy.
Yeah.
And New Era definitely does their thing. We have a pretty dope account with them, so we're able to customize like hats and stuff. So we put out some pretty cool releases too. That's a shameless plug.
Fire.
Yeah, definitely. Like going back to Reebok. Reebok is definitely a favorite brand of mine. It might not be the most popular right now, but I think fashion is very cyclical. So like, it's gonna have its time where it gets back to where it needs to be. Yeah.
They made a little bit of a comeback as well, and if Adidas was able to do it, I can't see why Reebok couldn't. They definitely, especially now that Puma's even made like a little bit more of a comeback as well. I think it's just really about like the silhouettes now. I don't think people really, the brands matter, but I think like New Balance, like nobody was rocking New Balances.
That's what I'm saying, cyclical.
But then now everyone's wearing like dad shoes, and it's really about like the shape. I really feel like it more than like, oh man, New Balance. It's like, oh, like this kind of really resembles like what's current right now. So shout out to Reebok. I definitely love their basketball sneakers. But I'm sure they can make retro. A big comeback in the lifestyle.
I mean, they're shifting. They separated from Adidas about a year ago, I think.
Okay.
And they're just on their own now. They got bought out by a bigger group. And they've hired like I think it's like Allen Iverson and Shaq to be like the head of basketball operations. So so they're making certain moves that are like smart. So let's see what they
basketball wise, they could definitely come back. I mean, D Wade and Kyrie and Austin Reeves, they got Chinese deals, like, and the sneakers are fire.
Facts,
So I really it's a beautiful age with fashion now, and I speak about this probably every episode. That like fashion, there's no gatekeepers now. You can really go to Alibaba or whatever manufacturer and really kind of get started. And even, shout out to like the folks that are kind of like, oh, take the Air Force One or Jordan 1 silhouette and make their own sneakers. But the point being, you can create what you want. And 20 years ago, you couldn't do that, or you didn't really have the access or the information to do so. Because I'm sure if we was in high school, we can start our own brand. Like, let's do that. Like, we'll be on Alibaba, during math class in the back, and we'll probably be out here sketching and doing cool stuff and making releases. It's easier than ever. So,
well, that's the beauty of like the internet, right? That's the beauty of like the advancement in technology and just like the speed that information gets shot out to you. And like, that's the beauty that like kids can now go online and go, yo, I want to start a brand. Let me figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to like us back in the day, we're a little bit older, right? We'd have to go to the library. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure it out.
Library,
right?
Which is crazy.
Like, so it's a dope testament to like where the internet is and where information is.
Yeah. So what on the horizon now that we're in Q4, about to head into the new year? What are some things that you and the team are focusing on or excited about as far as releases wise, or a new product, or you don't have to put too much out there, too much IP, but what are you guys excited for?
Just continue to grow the brand. I mean, we have plans to expand eventually, hopefully.
In Mount Vernon?
Maybe possibly.
Okay.
Possibly maybe a bigger location in Mount Vernon, and if not, we'll keep the location there and go somewhere else. It may not even be in New York, to be honest. May just be somewhere else that has a void in the market, and we can kind of jump in and fit in. But that's something that we have ambition to do. What else? Just continue to ingrain ourselves in the community and bring in like those fire brands, those like sought after brands that people want, because we want to be known within this space as like a leader. Like, we want to be a bodega, a feature. I don't want to say Kith because nobody can be a Kith, right? They're like at the top of the
You
of the
could be a
mountain.
Kith.
But
Don't limit yourself.
No, I'm not limiting myself.
You could be that.
You got to give credit to what what
they
that guy's
are right
done.
now, especially with the collaboration game.
Yeah,
I love their collaborations more than some of their individual pieces. Shout out to Kif though, but you can definitely be that.
They're in their own little universe, and that's cool. But there are a lot of other great players out there who are doing just as well and killing it. Like a Bodega, for example, which is one of my favorite stores. Like a Feature in Las Vegas, like a Aubameyang, that's led by like James Whitner. Like we have all these dope people doing stuff, so we want to be in that circle. Yeah,
for sure. What gets you guys there? Is it just the brands, the recognizable kind of brands, or what gets you there? Because I wanted to talk to you about like the overall shopping experience. Because there's less retailers where most people want to shop at, but for the folks that do want to go into the store instead of just shopping online, which is easier, right? Typically where you could just find the shirt, find the sneakers, find the jeans and have it sent to you. But people actually want to go into your space and like feel it, see it, pause, and actually get the clothes. What would you say is like the determining factor on kind of really building out that customer experience that most people are really like sought after? To kind of go into a bodega, to go into a Kith, people waiting online to go into a Kith. Like, why is that? Like, what do you think is the determining factor for like that customer experience?
Exactly what you just said, experience.
Yeah.
Like people want to be able to go into a space and just feel comfortable when they walk in and see things nicely presented or presented in a way that they may not have thought that they could see something. You know what I mean? You walk in and you see like a certain fold, or you see something on a unique mannequin. So experience is a big key to like why people go in and shop at places, like how the sales team approaches them and greets them and speaks to them. Like those are also factors on why people go into actual physical brick and mortar locations to shop. It's about experience.
Yeah. Nice. Well, man, thank you for coming, bro. Like this was great, man. Yeah. Shout out to Butter, shout out to the team, shout out to Mount Vernon.
For sure.
More Than Design podcast. We definitely got to get out there. Shout out to you guys. I want to give you guys your flowers. We definitely got to get out there and do some work with you guys in a in-person, in-store event or something like that.
Love that. Would love that. That'd be sick, man. If you could work something out, you come out. Shout out to you and what you're doing, man, and just kind of highlighting people who, people may not really get to hear their story. So that's super dope. Thank you.
No, yeah, it's a must that people hear your story and other folks, because, streetwear kind of gets that, I don't want to say bad rap, but it gets a rap where it doesn't feel like it's fashion. Like if you have a brand, like if you be like, oh, like I got a brand and it's only t-shirts, it's like it doesn't really get a good rap. Or if it isn't any of the retailers, the brick and mortars that you kind of mentioned, it's like, huh? And it's like, bro, like, no, they're doing dope stuff, and listen to their story,
Yeah, that goes into confidence too. I think a lot of people kind of write brands off because they don't know about it, but I think it's about, if you're an owner, if you're a brand owner and you want to you exude that confidence and you're telling people like, yo, this is going to be the next thing. Yeah. Like people have no choice but to believe you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I love the small brands. And I think that's something that most retailers don't really give those small brands an opportunity. As a previous brand owner, the only store that felt like gave me a chance, and it was off a consignment, but it was a Community 54. Dope. In the Alphabet district. Yeah. And they shout out to them. And I was like, one day I came back after I left my stuff there for like 4 months, quick story, and I got back like $450. Sick. And I was like, that means y'all sell $800 worth of merchandise, because they took 50%. Of course. And I was like, nah, I got to open up my own store. I got to sell this online. Yeah. But it was just like, they gave me the opportunity to actually sell some stuff. So that was dope. So hopefully you'll be that to the next up and coming, designer or brand like that, because we need you guys, because, most times you can't go into a lot of these other brick and mortars and say like, yo, can I leave my stuff here for consignment? They're going to look at you like, how many followers you got?
Now we currently work with like 3 or 4 brands right now that are on consignment, and like they're local brands from Mount Vernon, because it doesn't make sense for me to have a shop in Mount Vernon and not sell like brands that locally born.
Yeah. What are those brands?
Rise Vision, Create and Destroy. We just got a new one called House of Denim.
Nice.
So yeah, we have a couple of brands that are like from Mount Vernon, and we try to support the local shoppers and local brand owners. Yeah.
Yo, a man of the people, man. Yo, share your Instagram tags.
Cool. My personal joint is Jay Sainjour, excuse me. So JSAINJOUR. You have Buttafly's handle, so that's shop SHOP Buttafly, and that's spelled BUTTAFLY.
Yeah, we're gonna have it here, right here, somewhere.
Dope. But yeah, those are our handles, and you can check us out on Facebook. We're there, Shop Buttafly as well. So website yobuttafly.com.
Yo, next time y'all in Mount Vernon, or make y'all way to Mount Vernon, go to Shop Buttafly. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. We appreciate you. We're gonna keep giving you great content. Peace out. Next episode.
Peace.